basically where the food chain starts and where the food chain also will end. All the birds just got up super fast. Something's coming to the boat.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Thomason and welcome to this week's episode of Predator Pursuit. This week, we're back in Huntington Beach, California with Mako Matt, and we're gonna be chasing giant Makos with a bow.
So Jeff and I have been fishing sharks for about 10 years together, and he's been coming out pretty much year to year with a few breaks in between, but he really loves to do the shark fishing.
So after a couple of years of coming out here, Matt, he really got it dialed in, and sure enough, we hit the lottery one day and we were able to shoot an 809-pound Mako and set the world record with a bow. Right in the back. He's a freaking giant, man. Don't let him sink. I think I hit him in the spine. He's all jacked up. So now we're in a mad rush to get this done right. Pull. One. 5 years of trying to get a giant with a bow, and we finally did it. So far, what we've got registered for a world record, I think, is like 544 with a bow. So that's the number that we're shooting for right here.
And the scale's certified. And we got our weighmaster here. So what's the math? What's the math go to?
809.5.
809.5. That's the new record. You did it, baby.
So not only does Matt have the world record for a bow, but he also holds the record for the largest Mako ever taken on a rod and reel. I think it was over 1,300 pounds, just a giant shark. So that really shows he knows what he's doing. So I'm really looking forward to this week. So when we're bow fishing for these Makos, this is a huge team event. It takes a lot of people to make this happen and make things go right. So this week I've got Matt and his girlfriend Brittany. They're gonna be working on the boat to put us on these Makos. I've got Jim coming in to help deckhand and help us with the chum. And I've also got my neighbor Trevor. He's coming in and he's gonna handle reeling in this shark.
As soon as he told me that I might be able to come on this trip, I looked up every video I could and tried to get as prepared as possible. And so I had a little bit of an idea of maybe what to expect on this, but knew going into it that this is gonna be more of a fight than anything I'd experienced before.
So this week it looks like we might have caught a pretty good break in the weather. It looks like the ocean's gonna cooperate with us. And it seems like a lot of times when we're here, we're having to run out 2 or 3 hours to get on these Makos. But Matt was talking about the temperature charts and where he thinks the sharks are gonna be this week. And it looks like they're actually gonna be in pretty close.
We're right in the beginning of July. This is a great time of our season. Tuna are around, lots of food in the water. The water temperatures are perfect. It's right in the middle of the migration of the big Mako sharks. We love this time of year.
All right guys, first morning back here in Huntington Beach. First time I've been here in the last, I think it's been 5 years, 4 or 5 years, something like that. It's been too long. So I'm excited. They're calling for good weather. Shouldn't be too bad out there on the water, so I'm excited about that.
So it's our first morning going out. We're looking at the water conditions. The water's a little bit warm to the south. There's also a bunch of bluefin tuna. I'm really concerned about the boat traffic, so we opt to go north. We're only going about 7 or 8 miles offshore. It's not gonna take us very long to get there. By the time we get baited up, fueled up, we should be to the fishing spot within the first couple of hours.
So when we start out with what Matt calls a power chum. We put a whole bunch of chum in the bucket and we take off driving, and he goes for a mile or two laying down this long, oily, nasty, bloody chum slick. And the whole point of that is if any shark is out there and he crosses that chum slick, he's gonna hit that line and follow it straight to the boat.
So we've been chumming for a little bit, our power chum. We're set up right where we want to be. If you look at the water, we're right on this current break. There's a bunch of seagrass and foam from the plankton. This will carry our chum farther, faster. It's also basically where the food chain starts. The plankton creates all that foamy water. There'll be small bait fish and everything right here. So we've pretty much set up perfect on this current break. You can literally see the line. The water's so calm today. You can see the foam in the water and all the little eel grass and things that have been sucked up into the current. Our chum's also now going to get sucked up into the current as well. Up off the bow, you can see there's some bird life and stuff up there. So this is basically where the food chain starts and where the food chain also will end. So as the rod guy, you're going to have a couple of jobs. The number one job is to make sure that that swivel's not stuck in the tip. Then the other thing is when you've got the arrow, he's going to have it over here. You're going to be holding the rod with the cable not touching the water, but as close to the water as it can be, or as close to him.
Okay.
That gives him the distance. This is literally the only distance you're going to get for it to fly. Once you're set with everything up here, just make sure that cable's not touching the water. Keep it fairly close to him so he's got as much line as possible to get his shot off. One thing that's really important while we're out there is to find some seagulls. The seagulls will go and eat the little bits of chum and Cheerios if you throw them out. It'll alert you when there's a shark coming. They'll sit on the water and they'll feed, but when a shark comes, it'll spook the birds off the water. That way you don't have to stare into the glare of the water the entire day. It gives you a little signal, gives you a heads up that they might be coming. Birds are getting up, so something's coming in here. I'm not sure if it's a big or a small shark yet, but our indicator birds are getting out of the chum and lifting up, so we're gonna keep an eye on the water, try and get a size on this.
So we've been out here chumming for a few hours, but the birds all just lifted off the chum slick. I'm ready to see what's coming to the boat.
I got a shark approaching. The birds told us that one was coming, and looks like he's
right here.
Oh, here we go.
He's not big.
Yeah, it's like a 60, 70 pounder.
There he is, he's coming up. Pull, 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 pull! Well, this turned out just to be a small shark that came in, but We had a lot of fun. We fed him a little fish and got to see how he acted. That's a great sign. It means we're in the right area. Hopefully we'll see some more sharks.
Last week it was like clockwork. Almost every Mako showed up right around 2 o'clock. Had nothing to do with the tides or anything. It's just past 2 o'clock. We've only seen one small Mako today. We're starting to get a little nervous. We've got some chum left. We're gonna keep at it and hope for the best. All the birds just got up super fast. Something's coming to the boat fast and hard.
Birds are all lined up again, and they do the same thing. They get up off the water, but this time they all got up much faster. We were hoping that meant this was a bigger shark coming underneath them.
All the birds just got up again for the second time. About 5 minutes ago they got up and we knew something was here, never saw it. And man, they just shot up again. And Matt just saw a big fin come out about
Oh, big one
50
right
yards.
there, drop it, drop it.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that's a good one. He's so big, he's turning around. Where'd he go? So this shark is a giant. This is exactly what we're looking for. He seems to be fired up, he's really aggressive. So now we gotta start the process of getting him in close enough to get him shot with a bow. Coming to it. No, he's coming for it. This is it right here. Get ready. Oh, he pulled.
So the shark located us with the chum. We've got a big piece of fish tied to a line. We're trying to get this shark to come and get interested enough in this fish at about a yard from Jeff so he can get a good shot at it. It's staying really, really deep. It's gonna be hard to get a shot on it. We keep putting the bait out, trying to get it up close enough to the boat, but it just doesn't want to come up right away.
Bring him in, too deep. Too deep, too deep.
You don't want anything going wrong with a 500-pound Mako, and to make that shot as clean as possible, get him as close as you can.
Oh, Cameron. Wow. All right, we got a little wet on that one. We've never been splashed like that. I was not expecting. I was fixing to draw back and it just boom. We got so all of us. Yeah. Cool. He's turning. He's coming back. Oh God, here he comes.
God.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's in. That's in good. Let me get out of the way. Well, everything worked out perfect on this one. We got it in close enough. I made a great shot on it. Now the real fight's about to start. Ready?
Yeah.
It's in. That's in good. Let me get out of the way.
So the shark comes in for a final pass and gets close enough, and Jeff makes a perfect shot, just center of the back. Shark takes off, I get locked in with the rod and just wait for the command to tighten the drag down and start reeling. We let the shark run for a bit, get away from the boat to avoid any sort of a mishap or a hang up, limit any chance of him jumping in the boat is Matt's biggest fear. So once he gets out their ways, Matt came by, tightened my drag down, and that was game on for me.
You never know what can happen. This could take 10 minutes, this could take 6 hours to get them in. So we're just praying that arrow holds and everything goes good.
So we're about an hour and a half into this fight, and we are just not making up much ground on this shark. We're just gonna have to keep after it and hope she finally gives up.
The knot right there, that shows we're still 100 yards out. And it seems like we keep getting to 100, takes off again.
So we've been fighting this shark for about 3 hours. We're getting the leader close, we're pulling back and forth, it's getting real close. This is the part that gets really dangerous.
We've got the shark right where we want it. We're getting her up close to the boat, and sure enough, not ready to give up yet. We're right back where we started. She takes off and starts peeling drag.
And I'm having trouble just keeping my legs under me at this point. They're like jelly.
We're getting ready to leader it, but everybody's got to be on their A game right now because this is where it gets really dangerous.
I still got her. Oh yeah, come on. Get her. I got her.
So out of all the sharks we've caught out here with Matt, this one, hands down, was the most aggressive. Once we got her to the boat, I've never seen a fight like that before, and it was really exciting.
Good job, dude. That's the meanest one I've been a part of at the boat, I promise you. That sucker went nuts. Well, guys, we're back out here at Huntington Beach again, and Matt, we did it again.
Did it again. Fishing's been awesome out here this year. We've been seeing, an average of probably 3 big sharks a trip.
Matt, he always puts us on sharks, so I don't worry about that. But man, you just never know. Like, we had one little one show up earlier in the day. We let him go. And then Trevor, he came along. I'm so glad he came. He was the real man.
It was my first time experiencing something like this, and it was just still setting in. It doesn't seem real yet.
It was a heck of a fight. I mean, a little over 3 hours.
We put a lot of drag on that fish. It wanted to dig down on us, got its fins turned down. It just did not want to plane up at all. And, he put the meat on it and just kept pulling and pulling and pulling, and he just never gave up.
How big you thinking?
It's over 5 and under 6, somewhere in that neighborhood is my guess.
Some monster fish, man. Overall, man, one day out here on the water, 500+ pound shark. Didn't get much better than that.
But guys, this is one of my favorite trips that we get to go on every year, and we get to chase a different kind of predator. We get to come out here, combine fishing and hunting together, and it's just something really different. Not a lot of people get to experience it, but guys, if you enjoy doing this kind of thing, you need to look up Mako Matt, book a trip out here to Southern California. It's an awesome time, guys. You won't regret it. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you again next week.